Okay, I'm making progress on the grinding. I'm going nice and slow, taking my time. It's important to just grind down the hump of the weld and not get into the new metal or the old metal. So I take the big wheel, the thicker wheel first, and I go around and just grind the top of that weld off. And then once I get it close, I switch to the thinner wheel and just kind of go back and forth and up and down until I get it. Anyway, it's coming out pretty good. I'm pretty happy. This is very tedious. It's taking forever to do this, and I have to do the other side. It'll probably be 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So anyway, I'm going to keep at it, and I'll get this done and that done, and we'll be ready for the next part. Okay, I finally got it all ground down, and went pretty smooth, so it's basically ready for just a thin coat of filler. After I ground the seams down, I went over with the air tool here with 36 grit. Kind of did the whole thing so the filler will stick in there. But anyway, this side's done. Now I'm going to cut over to the other side, and I got a little bit to do on that side, but we're making progress. See, my glove finally gave out, so wore it out, so it's going to be time for a new glove. Okay, I finished up grinding both sides, so I've got them down basically ready for filler, more or less. So it took about 2.5 hours to grind those, almost 3 hours really, but closer to 2.5, I guess. But anyway, they're down, they're done, so I'm done. Hopefully I don't find any more. It's possible I'll find another. I still have to clean out some of the old filler in the drip edge along the center, but the center seems solid. There's no rust showing on there, so hopefully that's good. So hopefully this will finish up the roof. I'm going to hammer just a little bit more. There's a little section there that's a little humped up. I want to try to get that down, another section, but overall I can live with it. So we're going to move on. I want to put rust prevention underneath of it and get all that filled on the inside. Then I'll start sanding on everything and start getting it ready for paint, I think. Okay, I knocked off, you can't see it inside there, I knocked off all the loose rust around the back there and mostly down under this channel. Got reached in there as best I could. And then I went in with the rust prevention and I really poured it in there, and it dripped out of every seam. I mean, it was just dripping out of there, which is good. So that way it penetrated and got inside there, and hopefully it'll stop any future rust. So let that dry. It's probably going to take a few days. Cleaned it out too, so now I'm ready to start sanding and doing different things and getting the whole thing ready for paint. But okay, let's look at where we're at. We're in the middle of a storm on the East Coast, so for about the last 2 weeks it's been about 20 degrees during the day and single digits at night. So even with my heater in here, I can warm the air, but the ground still gets cold, so it's hard to work. And I've got everything ready for seam sealer. I went through here and all the cracks, dug out all the rust, and it's ready for seam sealer. It's just too cold, so I have to pause on the cab a little bit until the temperature warms up. So what I've been working on is the transmission cover. The driver's side is rusted out, so I decided to work on that. There's the first panel I've made for it. Let's take it over to the bench and I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, here's my trans cover. The other side's fine. It's nice and sturdy. This side, you can see the edge is rusted out. I would have made this in one piece, but I didn't have a piece of metal big enough, so got this piece worked in, got it shaped. I'm getting ready to mark it and cut it out. Then I'll make this piece to connect the two. But anyway, this is the only thing I could really work on right now. I pulled my heater out of it. There's the little radiator in there I got pulled out. I got a new one. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to go ahead and put a new motor in it. I haven't tested this motor, but they're only like $26, so I'm going to go ahead and put a new motor in it. But then I'll clean all this up, get the rust, get this back together. This was filled with this mouse house right there. So anyway, so I got a little bit work done, but it's been a little frustrating because it's been so cold. I can't work a whole lot. Like I say, even with the heater, I ran this heater for about 40 minutes now, and it's probably 50 degrees in here, so it's fine to work, but the floor is cold, so it's hard on your feet. So every now and then I'll hold my feet up to it. Anyway, we're still making progress. All right, I worked on my transmission hump. You can see I test fitted it. You can see the old rust that was in it, and then what's the new pieces. So that fits in there nice and snug. I'm going to finish weld it. It's getting to the point where it's too cold again. So anyway, I got the piece made. It's all tacked in. I'll finish weld it hopefully this week, and that'll be done. and I'm running out of rusty parts. So there's a little bit on the hood over there on the inside, not the outside. There's a few little things, but eventually we're going to be completely out of rust. So we're getting there. All right, we're back at working on the truck now that this little 4 or 5 week winter spell went away. We're mostly at night. We're in single digits, so it's been too cold to work on the truck. I want to get these seams filled, some filler on the top there a little bit, and I want to get this mounted with seam sealer, the plate there. So I'm waiting for it to warm up. It's finally in the 40s and 50s now, so I'm waiting for it to warm up a little bit today. Then I think I'll get this plate in today. But right now, what I'm working on, since I have time, I've got the trans mount there. I'll show you what that little notch right there is for. But I'm going through the old holes that were there. I filled them, and I'm putting stainless roof nuts in them to mount it down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Still a little cold, but it won't matter for this. So got a couple of them in already. They're going pretty smoothly. So I'll get those in, and then I'll show you why I added that little piece right there. Okay, I got all my riv nuts in. They went in smoothly. You can see they line up, so that part went good. So why do I have this little bump out on this? I don't think it wasn't like this in factory. So this part was rusted away, but I found some pictures of these when you buy new on eBay, and they don't have this piece on it. But the reason I'm adding it, possibly, because I don't know how this floor was originally, because it was completely rusted away. So I don't know, maybe there was a bump up there, maybe it was a washer. But the gas pedal has to go on there, and the best I can figure, it goes about right there, and one part of it's going to land on it and one part floats. So I had to build a spacer, so it was either add something to the floor pan or add something to that, so I went that route. I would just have it tacked on for now because I'm not 100% sure, but that seems to be the right place for the gas pedal, and it seems to function like that. So I've seen some, it was a different truck. It was an F250, and the gas pedal was on the edge of this. But if I pull that over like that, it doesn't function at all. So I'm not sure. I just want to make it work. So I think I'm going to go with that to make it work. So we'll see. That's why I did that. I may solve it later. I may find that I'm doing something wrong, or I may research and find a different way. But for now, that'll work. If I ever take the hump off, I'll have to take the gas pedal off, but that's no big deal. It's just 2 bolts that come out, and then it just slips on the back. So anyway, that's what we're doing. Okay, well, I had the pedal out. I was working on it. On the back, there's a spot where the pedal assembly rubs in here, and it was just rubber, so I think there's supposed to be a piece of metal in there. I bent a piece of aluminum in there and just kind of shaped it, and that pin holds it in. So I think that's close to what was in there. I think I still have my old pedal around there, and it probably had metal in it, but I went with aluminum. I'll grease that, and it should work just fine. So anyway, we'll get to this later in the project when we're putting the pedal and the pedals in and the interior in. But anyway, I think that'll work when we get to it. All right, it worked. I got the part where the steering column goes to. I got that mounted to the cab there. I just used seam sealer and pop rivets, and that stuff is super, super sticky, but it went in good. I'm happy with it, so that'll be good. Again, that hole was original, so I just wanted to leave it the way it was originally. In hindsight, I'd probably just fill it in to be better, but this keeps it original. And then what old pickup truck's not supposed to have an old sign in it, so I kind of like that anyway, so that's my sign. I got sidetracked also after that. I had a dent here on the side. I wanted to get it fixed. I got it pretty good. I can't really get in this crease on the inside to hit very well with anything, but I've got it where I can fill it now. It's pretty good. I did get sidetracked. I took the old U-bolts. You can see that's the top of the U-bolt. And I welded them together. I made this kind of contraption here, and it just swings, pull it, and it swings back. And I was going to use it in here. You can kind of use it a hammer and dolly. That way it always goes back to its position, like when you're swinging it. But it didn't work very well, and I spent probably about an hour making this thing, and then it took me about 10 minutes to hammer and dolly this out. I've got just a little bit more to do. There's a little small hump there now that'll knock out, but it's good enough to fill. Like I said, there's a little ridge right there. I would have to really whack it really hard, and I can't get enough swing. There's not enough room to get enough swing in back there, so just gonna fill it and it'll be okay. So, okay, I'm gonna put some filler on the back here. I went through it with 36 grit, and everywhere you see green, that's a low spot on here. So what I'm doing, I'm taking after I sand it with 36 grit, all these green spots are low spots. So I want the Bondo to stick good, so I'm taking my die grinder with that bit, and I'm going through all these green spots. You can see there where I've already, those were low spots. I'm just grinding that paint out so the Bondo will stick good. For the work truck, this is good enough. It's still going to be a little wavy there, but I don't care. It's a work truck. I just want it a little smoother instead of that great big cavity that was in there. But if this was a nicer car, I would take more time and work that out and get it smoother. But for this, it's going to be fine. So let me get all these green spots ground out, and then we'll get some filler on it, and we'll be looking good. All right, you can see it's starting to look pretty good. I got busy and just worked through without filming much, trying to get this. I got the primer on there and sanded it a little bit. There's still a couple of low spots where it was hit. I may leave them. I may try to work them out. I'll probably end up leaving them. It's not so bad. I don't even know if it shows up on the camera too much, but there's kind of like 2 low spots there, but I'll probably leave it. Like I say, I just want to get this moving forward. I got the top pretty good. These areas here. It's not perfectly flat, but it's smooth. There's like a dent right there. I'm leaving some of it because I don't want to overdo it, really. I'm not trying to get it perfect, but overall, this looks pretty good. I can live with it. I got a little filler here on the holes that I filled. That'll probably just take 1 coat. I'll go over that. I have a new light, searchlight kind of thing goes on it, so I've got the new holes drilled for that. I did that last night. So I think about all that's left is to sand everything, get it ready for the primer. I got the dash finished up too, so it's ready for the primer. All those spots came out good, so that's ready. So I think what I'll do today is just everything that's green, I'm going to sand it down as much as I could, or as much as I can, and get it ready. And then behind the dash, I want to put some of the rust prevention. Other than that, it'll be ready for primer on the inside and out, and that's going to be the plan. Just sand, sand, sand today. Okay, I'm prepping the last areas. I want to put filler on the 2 sides of the cab here where I repaired the areas. I do want to put a little filler, smooth that out. On this side, I took the grinder, 60 grit, to get prepared for some Bondo on it. And then I ran into a little hole here that I didn't see before and had to weld that up. So no big deal, but I got that welded up, so that's good now. So anyway, I'm getting ready to put filler on this side and the other side. And that should be all the body work that I need to do to the cab. I got 1 more coat on the top, so I think I'm about done with it. Okay, for the 2 sides, I do want these flat and not wavy on the sides. I used the orbital on the top because I didn't care if it was a little wavy, because the roof's already a little wavy, but here I do want these flat. So I'm using the air foul for that, so it's nice and flat. Got 36 grit on it. So I'll go back and forth, and it just fits right across it, and that will keep it nice and straight when I go across. It just makes quick work of it, and it'll be straight. So okay, I think I got it pretty straight on this side. I got 1 more layer on the other side to sand through, but I'll go ahead and put some primer on this, but it looks like it's pretty good. I'll get some primer on it, then we'll look at it. Well, it looks pretty nice and straight. You can see there's some straight lines in there. They don't really wave too much. I think that's going to be good on this side. Okay, I'm about to wrap this video up. I got both of my cab corners here. They came out really nice. They're really smooth and straight, so I'm happy with those. I've started sanding everything. I went over all this with 180 grit, which I'll do the entire thing. I've did the roof, so the roof's good. I'll do this, we're going to do these areas, and then I'll move on to the inside and around the cab. So anyway, on the next video, we'll be doing a lot of sanding, and then we'll finally get hopefully we'll get the entire cab painted. I'm just going to go ahead and paint the whole thing inside and out, top to bottom. When I spray the doors, hopefully they'll match the sides. I'm not going to spray those at the same time. There's not much body panels that shows on the side. I mean, that's there. The fender's separate and the door's separate. So if it's a little off, I'm not going to worry about it. But hopefully we get it the same. And I can always spray the whole thing if I have to. But I think we'll go ahead and paint it separate, and hopefully it comes out okay. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.